The Mission is a film from 1986 that you really don't hear talked about much these days, although I'm sure you can find it on a late night on AMC or one of the cable channels, because it was a film that, despite not winning the Best Picture award in '86, it lost out to Platoon, but it did get some recognition. It was a British film directed by Roland Joffe, who also did The Killing Fields prior to The Mission, so he's a pretty well-known director. The film won the Palme d'Or at Cannes and also did win an Academy Award for Best Cinematography. And I'm really just going to start there because this film is just an amazing visual experience, and I highly recommend, if it's at all possible, to watch this film on as large a screen as you can get your hands on, also with a really good sound system, because the score to this film, it was done by Ennio Morricone, who is of course the legend, did all the old Man Without a Name trilogy, the music to Once Upon a Time in America, and in my mind he's probably one of the best film composers ever. So he did the score, and you have the cinematography of this film that is just incredible, and the two together just really work on a truly visceral level to just take you into the setting of this film. Now, much of this film is shot on location, and the film centers around South America in the 18th century, roughly around the 1750s, when both Portugal and Spain were struggling over this territory. Basically, you had these two feuding empires. You had the Spanish and the Portuguese, who both had their empires rooted in South America. Of course, it's no mystery today that the Brazilians are speaking Portuguese, the Argentinians are speaking Spanish, so you have this heavy influence of these empires of that time. Now, along came the Treaty of Madrid, which basically transferred control, or quote-unquote ownership, from the Spanish over to the Portuguese Empire. The Spanish were, through the Jesuits, they were establishing missions that were attempting to convert the indigenous people over to Catholicism. Through the European Catholic Church, the Jesuits were very powerful at that time, and the film is pretty historically accurate when you look into the history of these events. The film takes a really poignant look at the relationship between the cross and the crown, and sort of moral hypocrisies that are taking place. Now, it looks at the different levels, and it goes down to the basic spiritual level, which is found in the main character of the film, who's played by Jeremy Irons, and his name is Father Gabriel. And he makes contact with his indigenous people, and he sets up his mission, and he, really gains the trust of the tribal people, and they live high atop these great falls, and they help him in the building of one of the missions. The film also explores the philosophical framework that is used by the church and by these empires to justify their actions here and their control over the indigenous people. They don't view them as human. They view them as animals. And in one of the classic scenes of all film, really, in my opinion, is when Father Gabriel goes into the jungle alone after climbing the heights of these falls, and he plays his oboe in the jungle, and the natives surround him, and they're drawn in, and for a brief moment, these two entirely contrasting cultures come together through the playing of this music and through these sounds, and it really shows the common bond that we share as human beings, regardless of our culture and our religious beliefs. This is so well done. The film is visually incredible. Most of the stuff is shot on location. If you can get the cool disc, you will see that there's a little segment on getting the actors to the locations. That in and of itself is a great supplement to the disc. I highly recommend checking out The Mission. It's a powerful film. It really looks at the symbiotic relationship between the cross and the crown and these great empires. Robert De Niro is also in the film. He plays a slave trader who has murdered his own brother, and he joins the Jesuit priests in an attempt at repentance, and he goes through these various steps and ultimately tries to become a priest, but he has this past as a man of the sword. Check out The Mission if you haven't seen this film. It really is an experience. It's a great film. Alright everybody, talk to you next time. It's Jcrash.